Welcome back, friends. See how life is. Oftentimes, when we take on a task or start doing some work, we expect other people to begin appreciating us right away. We want to hear them telling us that we are right. Thus, we get impatient and get carried away quickly. Even when we want to do something good, we often face many obstacles. Let's revisit our story and hear what happens next. At the end of our last episode, word of the traveler's good deeds had spread to the village leader. She began hearing that the traveler was truly helping her citizens develop their skills and learn new techniques. The leader went out to her village to investigate herself and observed the new farms, tools, and other small commodities that the villagers had made with help from the traveler. She began thinking, perhaps the traveler could actually help her village. The leader realized her mistake and thought back to when the traveler had come to see her. He had told her that he could help her villagers develop and improve their lifestyles in exchange for some help navigating the jungle. Yet, she had not believed him then. Meanwhile, the traveler was determined and motivated to help the villagers. Each day, without fail, he spent time teaching them despite any obstacles. He did not complain about the scarce food or shelter and made the most of the resources he had available. As the months went by, unbeknownst to the traveler, he was actually getting closer to his dream of helping the villagers find the treasure. One day, the leader herself came to the traveler with a large group of fellow villagers. She humbly apologized to the traveler for banishing him earlier and not believing in his intentions. She was now ready, along with all other capable villagers, to help him navigate the jungle and find the treasure he was talking about. This made the traveler very happy. He felt gratified that the efforts he had taken for over almost 1.5 years had come to fruition. He had finally won the trust of the village leader and the villagers while staying true to his intentions. The traveler was filled with a new sense of purpose and determination as he saw himself finally fulfilling his long-time goal. He realized that after 1.5 years of trying times, he finally had the necessary support from the village. He became further convinced that it truly was his destiny or God's intention for him to find this treasure and help this village. He decided that his dream regarding the treasure must be true, and he simply had to put in some more efforts to realize his dream. That evening, he called the villagers together for a meeting. Over the course of the past 1.5 years, the traveler had learned enough of their language to communicate in broken sentences with them. He used some of their words and gestures to re-explain his dream regarding the treasure. He explained that the only way to find out if the treasure truly still exists would be for them to take true efforts, find the site, and search carefully for it. He consoled them that even if they do not find the treasure, they should not worry, because taking the efforts and going through a journey towards a goal is most important. Without taking efforts in life, we cannot make any progress and would not be able to overcome our obstacles. Thus the villagers agreed to help the traveler. The leader herself was convinced of the cause and told the traveler not to worry about the villagers. She believed in the traveler's conviction, and regardless of the treasure, she was ready to take her village through this journey for the sake of their own self-development. Therefore, the traveler began narrating the scenery in his dream and explaining what kind of trees and landscape he had seen. The villagers listened intently, and they began mentally mapping what the traveler was saying. Having lived their whole lives in the jungle, they knew its nooks and crannies very well. The traveler described seeing big trees and a river and other details from his dream. He again explained that this had appeared in his dream and he hadn't seen such a place in real life. Yet, there was conviction in his voice and determination in his eyes that the path to this treasure would lead them to success. The villagers trusted the traveler and agreed that they were committed to helping him after he had guided them for so many months. As the planning continued, the traveler understood from the villagers that there was a large waterfall somewhere near the village. He told the villagers that it was necessary for them to reach this waterfall, and then he would know what to do next. Everyone was ready and eager to begin. The village leader announced that they would start their journey into the jungle the next day at 6 a.m. In the morning, the large army of villagers and the traveler set out towards the waterfall with strength and determination. As they neared the waterfall, the traveler remembered his dream and pointed out the large rocks at the base of the falling water. He told the villagers it was necessary to first remove these large rocks, as there were flat rocks underneath them that contained a map or directions to reach the treasure. The villagers were perplexed, as they had often walked past the waterfall, gathering drinking water or fish from its streams, but they had never thought to move any of the rocks at the base of the fall. Everyone looked at the rocks and realized that even with their army of people, it would take multiple days for them to move the giant rocks above the location of the treasure map. Even then, while the waterfall came down with full force, it would be almost impossible to move the giant rocks underneath. The traveler thought for a while and came up with a plan. He told the villagers that they would first need to go up the mountain to find the source of the waterfall. There, they would need to create a physical barrier, like a dam, to divert the flow of water so that the waterfall could be stopped. They all agreed on the plan and set out to find the source of the river. Over the next few days, they found the source and began building a dam with nearby rocks, trees, mud, and other resources. Thus, they found a way to temporarily divert the flow of the river such that it would not flow down that waterfall and instead reach a different one. The traveler helped the villagers and guided the engineering of the dam to create an effective barrier. After a few days, they were successful in their task and found happiness in their progress. Next, the group came back to the base of the waterfall where the large rocks were now accessible. The villagers and traveler spent another few days moving the hefty rocks, and finally, everyone was shocked to see that there was indeed a carving on the flat rock bed underneath. The group was amazed at their discovery and found more motivation in their progress. The carving showed an entrance to a hidden and long-forgotten cave near the base of the waterfall. The villagers needed to spend another day uncovering the entrance to this cave that was plugged by many trees, rocks, and mud over the years. When they finally opened the cave, the traveler walked in with the villagers and was overjoyed to see the treasure in front of him. Within the cave, there was so much gold, silver, jewels, and rubies. There were utensils, jewelry, silverware, and many other precious items. With tears in their eyes, the group collected the treasure and carefully brought it back to the village for distribution amongst the citizens and their neighbors. Thus, the traveler truly realized his dream and helped the village find the treasure that changed their lives for the better. We learn a very important lesson from this story, and that is, if a person's intentions are resolute and built upon honesty, then they will definitely succeed. Friends, let's dive into the lesson here. In our daily lives, we take on various different tasks. You begin experimenting with projects at home, at school, and even at work. You're easily invested in the tasks you take on, and they can often become personal or dear to you. You become dedicated to working on them in order to successfully complete the task. Yet, some of your friends or co-workers might not believe in your potential or ability to do so. They misunderstand your capabilities and underestimate your ability to be successful in your task. However, the reality of the situation is that they are not able to recognize your inner self and intentions. They are only exposed to your outer presence and physical form. Not everyone can look deeper within. Even in day-to-day relations, many of us work and communicate on a superficial level, often only engaging in small talk. Yet, no one can truly look within our heart and understand who we are and what we want. For that, you need to become your own true friend first. Another method is to approach a guru or a spiritual teacher. A guru doesn't necessarily look at your outer physical self, but rather looks within at your inner self. A guru can look within and see your personality, emotions, strengths, intentions, and true potential. The capacity and skill required to recognize these characteristics of a person lies within a guru. That is why many people believe in gurus. Some people do not believe in gurus. Yet, keep in mind, any single person's belief or disbelief in gurus does not influence their quality. Think about this. If you assume a person starts as a block of stone, each person can be created into a sculpture. Each person has the potential of a beautiful sculpture within them. However, there is also unwanted stone and hindering material around the sculpture that needs to be shed. A sculptor is the only one who has the vision to see the potential for a beautiful creation within a block of stone. Similarly, a guru has the vision to see the beauty within a person and recognize the unwanted or unnecessary parts that can weigh down on their potential. Thus, if we meet a guru in our life and live in their presence with true faith in them, then our intentions are not far from turning into reality. Our intentions and associated actions definitely become successful. This is similar to the traveler in our story who had pure and honest intentions, and he was successful when the villagers put their faith in him. There's a certain task, yet they make lofty and persuasive claims that convince everyone to believe in them. Meanwhile, others have the cognitive skills and technical abilities to complete the task, yet they're not able to express themselves adequately. However, keep in mind that time rules all and is the universal answer. If your intentions are resolute and built upon genuine honesty, then you will succeed in your task. Now, I would like to remind you here that remaining silent with your words can weigh down on your mind, but if you keep trying, you will definitely be showered with happiness. Just think about the traveler in our story. He had to live in the village for almost 1.5 years to succeed in his intentions to help the villagers. Think about how many difficulties and obstacles he must have come across during this time. I did not detail every single one since we don't have that much time right now. However, the traveler stayed in this village for 1.5 years, away from his own home and family. What was his intention? To find the treasure that would help the village prosper. Yet, in order to find the treasure, he had to do things he hadn't planned to do. And what were those? He had to teach the villagers how to farm, how to make clay pots, how to wear more sophisticated clothing, and present themselves in a worldly manner. The traveler had not planned for all of these milestone tasks. His main goal, and the one he had planned for, was to find the treasure he was seeking to develop the village. Friends, this happens to us in life. Sometimes we have a certain target, but in order to reach there, we have to follow a deviating path that we might not have planned for. But in our example, keep in mind that the traveler did not follow the wrong path. Otherwise, sometimes in life, people think that in order to reach their goal more easily, they can pursue a wrong or illicit path. However, choosing an inappropriate path will not lead you to success. Even if you have good intentions and manage to achieve your positive goal, others that observe you on this path assume that your goal, similar to your path, was also ill-intentioned and you fall short of achieving your success. So, friends, remember that our traveler wanted to find the treasure and help the villagers, but for that he had to struggle for 1.5 years. He had to learn the native language of the villagers, understand their customs, and more importantly, gain their trust and understanding. Over the months, the efforts he took to help and educate the villagers ultimately helped him make a deeper connection with them and win their trust in his true intentions. Similarly, sometimes in life, you might be surrounded by your peers, colleagues, competitors, bosses, maybe even your parents or friends, and yet you are not able to convince them to trust in your abilities. You are not able to persuade them of your capability and the merits of believing in you to accomplish a goal. Building that trust within others takes time and patience, but you should not fall prey to negativity, stress, and fear during the journey. Even though you are capable of delivering on your word, others might not believe you right away or might not understand your journey, as they will need time to change their opinion. At this time, it's important to recognize that you need to gain their confidence in you. Early in the journey, it might be helpful for you to try to convince them, in the absence of their trust, to believe in your abilities. However, once you gain their trust, you will not need to keep convincing them over and over again. Hence, we return again to our principle. If a person's intentions are resolute and built upon honesty, then they will definitely succeed. I will leave you with a thought. In order for someone to achieve success, they have to combine and infuse honesty into their efforts. So, friends, I will tell you this. In the end, even if you are unable to be convincing or persuasive in life, it is all right. Each person is gifted with different strengths and capabilities. Therefore, you should not be afraid of taking on a task, even if you are initially unable to convince the world of your ability to complete it. It is not necessary to always spell out your efforts and pure intentions behind your actions, because the world will not understand you. While the world may not be able to understand the language of your words, the language of your actions will speak louder and clearer. Thus, you don't need to pursue others to convince them of your worth. They themselves will be convinced of your capabilities after experiencing the power of your actions.
That's right. Shreekalp just beautifully explained the importance of words and intentions within our lives. That if our intentions are pure and strong, there is no force that can stop us from being successful. Always keep this in mind and work with such a powerful conviction that there can be no force that will hinder you. Another important aspect that we should learn and keep in mind is that the world runs on the support from our community. Just think how beautiful our world would be if we all tried to lend each other a helping hand in any small way whenever possible. Let's see a short example of this principle that is presented to us by some young kids, and think about how we can do the same to improve our lives in this world. Let's take a look. So there you have it, folks. Today, we have heard some extremely important and relevant life lessons from shreekalp. We've witnessed how they've already helped some of our viewers and also seen how others are spending their time with creativity and performing good deeds. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and we'll see you next time for another stroll with shreekalp. Stay safe.